Week 19 of the fantasy basketball season. And now with the trade deadline approaching here today on March 3rd for fantasy owners, here's a few centers I look go out there and buy this week. The first guy, Clint Capella of the Atlanta Hawks. Clint Capella, what a season he had last year for the Hawks as they got deep into the NBA playoffs, going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So on the season here for Capella, 10.6 points a game, 12.1 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.4 blocks a game, and 58% from the field. But the last couple weeks here, he's been banged up a little. 9 points a game, 12.3 rebounds still, 1.3 blocks, and 65% from the field. So his scoring has gone down this season, and even the rebounding. Last season, he averaged 15 and 14, but this year only 9 and 12, even though 12 is a great number, rebounding the basketball, no doubt about it. But the last few games here for Capella, February 24th at Chicago, 14 points, 17 rebounds, 2 blocks, 63% from the field. February 26th, 8 points, 9 boards, a steal, 2 blocks, 80% from the field versus Toronto. And March 1st at Boston, 5 points, 11 rebounds, a steal, and 50% from the field. So right here, he's not getting the job done. The rebounding's always going to be there. But I want to see more scoring from Capella and more shot blocking as well, even though the last 2 out of 3 ball games, he's had 2 blocks in those games. But right now, I just feel like the big stat lines are few and far between, unlike last season where he was getting some 20-20 games or 15 and 15 games. So right now, while fantasy owners maybe expected more of those stat lines this season, I think it's a good time to go out there and get Capella. And right now, this is the stretch run here for the Atlanta Hawks to see where they seed up and get in the playoffs. And Clint Capella is a great talent as long as he's on the court. And the only down thing with him over the last few years has been injuries. But right now, I would go out there and try to get him on my roster. The next center is Boucher of the Toronto Raptors. So Boucher, definitely an off-season compared to last year for him. Nick Nurse, he just don't play in major minutes. And obviously his stats have taken a hit. And even fantasy owners have dropped him in 4% of fantasy weeks. On the season here for Boucher, 8.9 points a game, 5.8 rebounds, 1 block a game, and 46% from the field. But the last couple weeks here, he's been non-existent. 5.8 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, and 57% from the field. So his shot blocking is down. His scoring is way down from last season to this season, going down 5 points. And he's not getting the playing time like I mentioned. He's topping out pretty much at 20 minutes a game here for this Toronto Raptor team. So the last few games, February 26th at Atlanta, 3 points, 5 boards, 50% from the field. February 28th at Brooklyn, 8 points, 2 boards, an assist, 2 threes, 50% from the field. And March 1st, first Brooklyn, 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 50% from the field. So he's not shot blocking like I mentioned. He's not really scoring the basketball well. And his rebounding is mediocre at only 5 or 6 a game. So right now, while he's not doing much here, you don't got to give up much at all. You could even pick him up off your waiver wire and get him on your fantasy team, because I think in the end, Toronto's going to need him, and he's going to put up some big stat lines as Boucher. Obviously, he's not a great fantasy player, but last season I don't think was fluky. They just got to play him more. Nick Nurse has to believe in him more a little as well. On the third and final center I look to buy and trade for this week is Nikola Vukovic of the Chicago Bulls. So Vukovic, he's been up and down this season in his first year with Chicago. I know last season he was the main man over there in Orlando before he got traded to Chicago. And this Bull team, very talented with Levine, DeRozan, obviously Vukovic on the roster. So they're a loaded team over there. And Lonzo Ball, when he comes back from injury. So on the season, 18 points a game, 11.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal a game, 1.2 blocks, 1.5 3 a game, and 46% from the field. So last season, he averaged 23 a game, down to 17. And the last couple weeks here, another guy after the All-Star break, where his stats have taken a hit, only 12.3 points a game, 9.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, a steal, a block a game, and only an awful 36% from the field. So his field goal is down. His scoring is definitely down. And right now, I think is a good time to go out there and get him while he's down, because he's too talented of a player to have these down stats. And once Lonzo Ball gets back in the lineup as well here, it's going to be easier baskets for Vukovic, obviously, with a playmaker like Ball running the points of the last few games for him. February 24th versus Atlanta, 12 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 30% from the field. February 26th versus Memphis, 11 points, 12 rebounds, a block, 29% from the field. And February 28th in Miami, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 50% from the field. So right here, the rebounding's still been pretty good over the last few games and weeks here. But the scoring is down, field goal is down. And like I mentioned, once Ball comes back, he's going to be a great get and a guy who definitely could lead your fantasy team as a top 2 or 3 player on your roster. So that's a few centers I look to buy and trade for here. Basketball leagues, trade deadline expires today in most leagues in Week 19.